The Way of St. James passes through the municipality of Villaviciosa at La Llera, a place it shares with its neighbouring municipality, Colunga. The Church of San Antolin of La Llera, which is pre-Romanesque in style and dates from the 10th century, marks the point of departure towards Priesca, a nearby village you will pass through. One of the late pre-Romanesque churches in the municipality, San Salvador of Priesca, built in 921 AD, soon comes into sight. An old path takes you through a small forest to a road that passes through the village of La Vega. As you leave the village, you will continue along an earthen track. Behind you is the Palacio of La Guera, a large house with plenty of history. The peace and quiet of the Way of St. James is rudely interrupted by progress. After passing the old bridge of Cebrallo, also known as the Bridge of Los Trancos, you end up again on the road. But before you carry on your way, it's worth making a short detour to visit the church of Santa Maria of Cebrallo, a Romanesque church dating from the second half of the 13th century. And after your visit, go back on yourself and head for the village of Cebrallo. There you'll come across old schools that are now used to shelter pilgrims, a meeting place where you can rest. Leaving Cebrallo behind, you then reach Fresno. It's a good moment to take a break while they stamp your pilgrim's passport. As you set off again, you have a spectacular view of the river for a good part of the route as it stretches out towards the sea. The path leads you through beautiful countryside and groves of indigenous trees. At the other side is La Torre, or the Casona of Vellones, which, allegedly, was visited by King Charles I of Spain in 1517 upon leaving Villaviciosa. Crossing over the motorway, you find yourself before the river again, and one of the products that Villaviciosa is famous for, the apple. The apple orchards are the first to greet us. Next to them is the cider company, Valle, Ballina and Fernandez, Sidra el Gaitero, whose success is due to the excellence of these apples. Crossing through Cada, and although the Way of St. James continues on a little along the main road, we would recommend you cross the road and make a detour to Les Caleines and on to the town of Villaviciosa. Some information panels and a viewpoint for birds will tell you a little about the inhabitants of the river. The last part of this stage ends in Villaviciosa, where you can stroll along its streets and squares through 7 centuries of history. An urban landscape imbued in history and stories of kings and pilgrims past. The Church of Santa Maria of Villaviciosa, otherwise known as the Church of the Oliva, was built in 1270 and contains elements of late Romanesque architecture. Back on your route along the Way of St. James, you leave with the feeling of having shared in all the essence, history, nature and life of this land called Villaviciosa.